The cards speak. Justice listens. Welcome to the unseen. Truth doesn't hide forever, not from the eyes that see. Spirits stir, clues awaken. Let the seeing begin. Behind every crime, a shadow speaks. I'm Lady Zelda. Welcome to Seeing Crime. Hello, my darlings. Good evening. It's 9 o'clock. Well, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. No, sorry, it isn't. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday. And here we are. We are at the eve of the 2.0, my darlings. Here we are. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I love seeing you. And thanks a lot for telling me you love the intro. I wanted to do something a little different. So there we are. Welcome to the Sammy Show. She is here. Thank you so much for coming in. Jerry sent me notice that Melanie and Nurse Kim are going to be on Court TV, but I can't find it. So if somebody knows where it is, maybe I've looked all over. So I don't know. But we're here anyway, and we're going to talk about things. And while we're looking for that and waiting for some other people to come in, my goodness, how do we feel? I mean, do me a favor right now on both sides. And if you're over on True Oracle, welcome, welcome, welcome over on True Oracle. We have over 100 members in there, and I'm going to start scheduling the members only live so I can read your calls or cards, probably. And we're going to get started on that. But do me a favor right now while we're waiting for everyone come in. Click the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe so we can talk to you. And also, I want you to do me a favor and put hashtag Free Karen Reed in the chat. Hashtag Free Karen Reed. So let's see. M&M, how do I check my membership? On True Oracle or on this side? I don't, you've got one on, I can see you, you're green right now on True Oracle. So I have True Oracle's chat pulled up so I can make sure that everything is cool. But please do me a favor. Oh, email psychiczeldakelly@gmail.com. psychiczeldakelly. Do me a favor, Free Karen Reed. Let's just go for it. Free Karen Reed. There we go. Free Karen Reed. So, and if anybody sees where Melanie and Nurse Kim are, then we'll pop on over there. But we just need to chat for a minute. We just need to say hello. Free Karen Reed tonight. Prayers go up for Karen and the defense team. I saw someone on the X space on Twitter. I'm always going to call it Twitter. Sorry. I saw someone on there say, oh no, it wasn't on there. It was Julie from Court TV who said that because of this trial, the defense team is putting their law licenses on the line. Now, what is she talking about? And who is she, really? How ridiculous can we absolutely get? That is just nuts. Okay, on this side, I've been a member for a while. I think some people were gifting memberships, M&M, and you were gifted a membership. And usually when they have, usually when they come due again, it would be up to you. You should be getting an email for it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But just so you know. Okay, so that's probably why. That's probably why. There's Jerry. And listen to your Shaggy, Jerry. He knew when you were coming in. Hello, and hello to everyone. Jerry, I've not seen the link where Melanie and Nurse Kim are live. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Someone let me know and do me a favor. But yeah, that's what this, lawyer Larry, DUI guy, Larry really got mad at her because he said, no shade, but she took a while to pass the bar exam and that she's never been in a courtroom. And she's there giving her opinion. And you know what they say about opinions. There we go. Nope, you joined yourself. I don't know, honey. Sometimes YouTube does that. And I don't know. You'll have to go back in and probably hit the join button again. Is most likely what you have to do. Yeah. That's probably what you have to do. There is a link in the description. Because if you hit the link and it says that you already are a member, then you'll know. But if you hit the link and it takes you to the section where you finalize the transaction, then you know that too. So I wish I knew. I wish I knew some of these things. Court TV live stream. Yeah, I don't. Okay, let me go over there. Let me go over there. I'm checking this out. Give me a second. Oh, bless you, Angel. Shows. Is it with Vinny? Whose show is she on? See, I don't know where she is. I don't know. All I'm seeing is Larry Daybell. We'll find her. We'll catch up. We'll find them. We'll find them. So I've been looking on there and I've been looking on YouTube. So Vinny is on now. Court TV has it on. Well, let me go over onto their YouTube site and see. Maybe they are on there now. Let me see. Just checking this out. It's not her. It's a no. It's for that was for, let me see. I don't see it. Let me go back over here and look at Vinny. Shows. Closing. Is it closing arguments with Vinny? I don't see them. I don't know why. I see the one. Wait, is this it? Let me see. I'm checking this out. I'm just kind of, no, this isn't it either. I don't know. How could I be missing this? Okay, it's on the web, not YouTube. Court TV, click watch live. Thank you. All right, let me get this set up and see. I have to go through all their bloody stuff. Because they got commercials and I can't get the commercials off because it's their live TV. Let me cue this up and then I'm going to come back and grab it and I'll be right there with you. We got everybody in their commercials going. All right, let me get this ready. There you go, Standing Stone. Try Amazon Prime under live. Is that where it is? I've got it. Okay, okay. Let me see. It's on commercials right now. Is that I'm getting this. Let me see where this is. Oh, forevermore. It says Court TV will be right back. All right, let me see. Before I bring you in, I want to just make sure. That I have it right here. Well, I don't know if this is it. I don't think this is it. Okay, hold on. Hold on, Vinny. All right, let me bring you guys in. Let me bring you guys in. Hi there. Hi there. Okay. Let me see if I can bring this in. Screen share, Court TV live. There he is. And let me fix this.
Have you ever had a conversation with Brian Higgins about
Is
your
this it?
phones, respectively?
We may have.
Why, in June of 2023, did you testify?
Okay, that's it. All right,
I
great.
know
Thank you
there
so
were
much, everyone, for your
conversations about the
patience.
phones
We
with
got
Brian
it.
Higgins,
We got it.
end
Thank
quote.
you. Thank you.
I'm not sure of the context of that.
Thank
So
you.
now
Okay,
you
I'm
just
going to be
can't
quiet
remember.
now.
No, I don't think I could remember during that testimony either. I think if you read the whole thing, I think I said I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Your quote was, I know there were conversations about the phones. I just can't say if he said he was going to get rid of his phone or not, end
Right.
quote.
Right.
But Brian Higgins has also gotten rid of his phone.
I know at some point, Brian Higgins.
Yes or no, Mr. Albert?
Did he?
Objection, Your Honor.
Can you answer that, yes or no, sir?
Yes.
Okay, brings us to the next question in our investigation, and it's about those phones, and it's about these two witnesses. Why did the Bryans, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, destroy their phones? Here with us, former NYPD officer, retired Nassau County Lieutenant and Commanding Officer Mike Gould, and attorney Melanie Little. She's on YouTube. She is here as well. Great to see you all. All right, Melanie, why did the Bryans destroy their phones?
It's the question of the hour, isn't it, Vinny? I mean, the two third-party culprits that are left in this case, Brian Higgins and Brian Alberts, both destroy their phone around the same day, right before they're served with a preservation order. Not only did they destroy their phones, but they got new phone numbers. So is it a coincidence, or was it an intentional destruction of evidence?
Looks beautiful,
It's
doesn't
going to
it?
be something for the jury to decide, but something that Alan Jackson will sink his teeth into once again.
Let me ask you, Mike, is there any reason that you could think of that a member of law enforcement would want to destroy their phone when they get a new one?
Well,
Melanie
I certainly
is
think it was
excellent.
intentional. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Oh, yeah, they
But-
definitely destroyed these
Yeah,
phones.
yeah.
We'll
on
go back
purpose.
and listen to
But
Nurse
why would
Kim.
a member of law enforcement do that? Is there a reason? I'm not a member of law enforcement. You were.
Right. So it's their personal cell phones, number one. And I'm assuming it's not a police department cell phone. And I'm sure there's a lot of things on there that they didn't want anybody to see. There was a big night of drinking and partying and past and present texting and sexting and all of these things amongst all of them. I just don't personally think it's as nefarious as it suggests. And I never really did buy into the conspiracy theory. So I think that there's problems on both sides of this, the prosecution and the defense. And of course, they have to make a thing. It certainly doesn't look good, but I don't think it's as nefarious. I think there's personal things in there that they didn't want anybody to find out about.
He's a nutcase.
And they decided, when they woke up the next day and said, what
He's
did
a
we
whack
do last
job.
night? Try to figure out what the hell happened. They made this decision, which will ultimately be obviously a bad decision.
Let's take a listen to Brian Higgins here talking about his phone and being cross-examined by David Yannetti.
In September of 2022, you were served with a preservation order for your phone, were you not?
Yes.
After September of 2022, you never received anything in writing that canceled or
Don't worry,
lifted
Melanie's
that
gonna
preservation
handle it.
order, correct?
That's correct.
After September of 2022, you made the decision to dispose of your phone without consulting anybody about the decision to throw out your phone, correct?
Yes.
You took the SIM card out of your phone, correct?
No, what I testified to was that it's,
Did you take the SIM card out of your phone, yes or no?
I don't know.
Did you testify that that's what you do when you get rid of phones, sir?
What I said was that might have been the extent of it if I was to have done that.
And you either cut up the SIM card or ripped it up, correct?
I believe what I testified to was
I'm not
I would
asking
have,
you what you testified to. I'm asking you today, did you either cut up the SIM card or rip it up?
cut it up or broke it.
Okay, Melanie, from the defense perspective, how and why are the phones of these two men so significant?
Well, since they're both potential third-party culprits, the issue is that by destroying both of their phones, they essentially destroyed all communications between the two of them. And both being law enforcement, they both knew exactly what they were doing when they did that. And understand also, this was 9 months after the murder of John O'Keefe. And so it just leads to so much, as if there wasn't enough reasonable doubt in this case, so much more reasonable doubt.
So, Mike, what you were saying before is there might be other things on there, and you say might not be as nefarious, but could there be other things on there that are sort of what got Trooper Michael Proctor fired from his job? You know,
100%, 100%. Remember, we use cell phones today like we're just having normal or just conversations that are just back and forth. You're talking about everything about your personal life, your professional life. Again, these weren't, I don't believe, police department phones, which obviously should remain very sterile. You shouldn't mess with them. But it's their personal phone. I just feel that they, their whole lives, they had everything was this one night of partying has now turned into such a tangled web for so many people. And they made this decision. Definitely agree with Melanie. This was a bad decision. This does not look good. And it for those of us, not those of us, but I mean, we have a thirst for conspiracy theories going back to Kennedy and 9/11. So for people that want to, you know, see this as a conspiracy, this certainly is going to feed them that kind of tidbits of information. I don't think it's a conspiracy.
Melanie, how is the defense prejudiced by this?
Prejudiced by the two of them destroying their cell phones?
Not having access to any of that information.
Well, what Brian Higgins did do right away after, within the days after the murder, is he went to the FBI. He has a friend who worked there, his friend Matt Kelch, who's on the witness list for the defense. He showed Brian Higgins how to use the kiosk in the FBI building so that Brian Higgins could cherry pick the text messages between himself and Karen Reed. He then printed up all of those text messages on physical paper and brought them with him to give his statement to, I think it was Michael Proctor, who has other issues now, as you know. So, you know, the issue is also that Brian Higgins lied about making any phone calls the evening in the early morning hours of January 29th of 2022. And now all of a sudden, some new video has surfaced of Brian Higgins on the phone outside the Sally Port at Canton PD. Had this video been turned over prior to the first trial or even during the first trial, Higgins would have been able to been impeached with it. But now all of a sudden, after the mistrial, all of this new video is surfacing.
Right.
There's a lot more evidence that's going to come in this trial, and it's going to be must-see TV, Vinny.
Yeah, another reason why this trial is going to be different. Mike Gold, Melanie Little, stay with us. Up next, why didn't anyone see John O'Keefe on the lawn?
Right. Let me
Now's
say
the
that.
time
She
for a
looks
great
beautiful
deal on
there.
a new Honda.
Melanie, they could
It's
not
time for a
have a
different
better
kind of power.
person up there right
Whether you
now
choose an electric Honda
than Melanie.
or a hybrid.
I don't want to stop this because,
From
quite
the Kelly Blue
frankly,
Book Best Overall EV and Hybrid brand. Right now, you can get a $369 per month
I
lease
don't want to mess this up.
2.49% APR.
I bet Melanie's head is
2025
about ready to
CRV
pop
all-wheel
off
drive sport hybrid.
with these guys.
Bounce elevates and celebrates the achievements of HBCUs all year long.
From the classroom to the field, we are
I
making
did mute
history.
the sound on it.
Bounce HBCU yearbook.
Give me something new. I want the real you.
I did. I muted.
That is the best idea.
I muted on my. I don't know. Is it muted on your end?
We can get you more.
Rex, go!
Angus MacGyver.
You know that was fun.
We'll see what happens here. I just cannot believe that we are at the eve oh my gosh, oh my heck. Do we have enough commercials?
Ion is on with 3 networks.
They fooled me. I thought it was over. Oh, forevermore. Do we have enough commercials? Zorro. I used to watch Zorro, everybody. Yeah, we're going to talk about my vibes here in a little bit. We're going to watch this through, and then I'll tell you what my vibes are. Oh, forevermore commercials. How do they even have a program? I used to like that program right there, Bones. That was a good one.
I'm Vinnie Politan. We continue our investigation of the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Crucial to this case is figuring out why all these witnesses in the case, you've got so many of them, yet no one witnessed the alleged murder. Here's the story. On January 29th, 2022, Karen Reed discovered the lifeless body of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, in a snowbank outside of a fellow officer's home in Canton, Massachusetts. Prosecutors allege that Reed, after a night of drinking, struck John O'Keefe with her SUV and left him to die in the blizzard. She faces charges of second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating under the influence, and leaving the scene of personal injury and death. Karen Reed pleaded not guilty, asserting that she is being framed by law enforcement to shield others involved in John O'Keefe's death. Her first trial ended in a mistrial in July of 2024 due to a hung jury. The retrial is beginning with heightened public interest and scrutiny over the investigative conduct, including the dismissal of the lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, for unprofessional behavior. The case has
It's
become
going to be a
focal
week,
point
everybody.
in discussions about justice and police accountability. I want to begin this segment talking about the scene where John O'Keefe was found, which may be the scene of the murder, if you believe prosecutors, but at a minimum, it's the scene of death where John O'Keefe is discovered. I want you to take a look at an animation. This was done by Microdots, and what it tries to demonstrate is what it looks like for someone driving down the street like the plow driver, and what you would or would not see driving past 34 Fairview. Now, obviously, it's an animation, but it does give us some sense of what we are talking about in terms of the size of John O'Keefe, where he was located, and what was found. Now, Matt Johnson, Court TV crime and justice correspondent, returned to the scene and took us there. I want to take a look at what he saw.
We're approaching the house. It's at a grade of a curve. Here's 34 Fairview. I'm turned in front of the house right now, and this is actually in front of the mailbox. So this is the position of the house in front of the mailbox. You can see the two entry doors that are constantly being talked about by these witnesses on the stand. Down the road, it turns. So anyone that was approaching from that direction, they're not going to see the front yard that much. And remember, we just made that other turn. So this is in the center of two turns, and it goes up, down. It's about a hilly neighborhood. It is hilly. And so if you're driving through here in the dark and in the snow, you might not see much. These are huge houses as they appear on TV, but the yards are very small, and it's a very dense neighborhood. You can see the flagpole is only about 7-8 feet away from where the street starts. There is no sidewalk. And you can see that from any direction that you're at in front of this house. I'm going to back up. There's no one behind me. I'm backing up to the neighbor's home. So if someone was approaching this house to pick somebody up, this is what they would be seeing as they're approaching the mailbox that we've heard about and the driveway where a lot of these witnesses were also parked. And still, you can see where John O'Keefe's body was in front of that flagpole from any direction over here. It's a very dense neighborhood, but from this flagpole and where John O'Keefe's body was, I mean, look at how close it is to this yard. And also, that is the gate where the defense showed a video from the basement doors. They lift up. They're on the side of the house. You can walk through that gate and walk right over here to the flagpole.
Matt Johnson returning to the scene there. And when you go to the scene, I think you get a much different perspective of all of this. And that brings us to the next question in our investigation. Why didn't anyone see John O'Keefe on the lawn? I mean,
because he wasn't there.
Coming in and out of the house, showing up, picking people up, dropping people off, getting in their cars, going home. Why didn't anyone see John O'Keefe on the lawn? Joining us, former NYPD officer, retired Nassau County Lieutenant and Commanding Officer Mike Gould, and Karen Reed supporter. She's Nurse Kim on YouTube and TikTok. Kim Whalen also with us. All right, Kim, I'm going to ask you first. From your perspective, why didn't anyone see John O'Keefe on the lawn?
You tell me, Vinny. The Commonwealth tell me. Because if you have been to 34 Fairview, and just like that beautiful job that Matt Johnson did in the drive-by reenactment, it is so incredibly close and small. And there is no way, in my humble opinion, that there was almost baker's dozen people leaving this house party that were not able to see any figure in the snow being Officer John O'Keefe.
All right, Mike, you were there. We've got some video for when you went there, and you went at nighttime. From your perspective, why didn't anyone see John O'Keefe on that lawn?
Well, I'd just offer a couple of, there I'm laying there. And as you can see, it's at nighttime, and it is a different perspective. So I would just offer just a different explanation. First of all,
Get this
there was
clown
a lot
off of there.
drinking going on. That's, I think, not taken into full account from 4 in the afternoon until this time. And there's something called inattentional blindness. When you're driving or walking, you're focused, you have to block out things in your peripheral vision or you can't really function. So this inattentional blindness, particularly at night, you're driving, you don't notice things like a garden hose on the lawn, particularly a human being lying flat. We're not used to seeing human beings lying flat. We're used to seeing people standing up. So my explanation
Who is this nut
that
job?
people leaving that party are driving, they're focused, they got tunnel vision, and this lifeless object lying on the ground is very difficult to see unless you were looking for it. You wouldn't see necessarily garbage cans. You drive by these things when you go home at night. You drive down your block at night and pass things that you're not really looking at towards your neighbors' houses. And from the perspective I was at, it's not that terribly close. I could see where people could miss it just by coming in and out and not paying attention or not looking for something.
Now,
Probably
there was one person
does
driving on the
compare
road that
a
night
garden hose
who
to many things
was
that he
not at the
has.
party, was not drinking, and his job was to pay attention to what was on the road. And that's Brian Loughran. He is the snowplow driver. Let's take a listen.
When you made that first pass by that residence at 2:45 in the morning, sir, with your headlights on, what, if anything, did you see on the front lawn in the area of the flagpole?
I saw nothing.
If there had been a 6'2", 200-pound man lying in the snow there, would you have seen it?
Objection.
Sustained.
What time was it, to your best estimate, in terms of when you would have approached Fairview and Cedar Crest again?
3:15 to 3:30. At that point, I saw a Ford Edge on the side of the road.
Where was it parked on the side of the road?
In front of the Albert's house.
Where in front of the Albert's house?
By the flagpole.
Okay, Kim, how important is Brian Loughran in trying to determine what's going on there at that time of day?
Oh, he's incredibly important, Vinny. He is the key to what exactly the timeline is. And I recall also the Department of Public Works in Canton, Michael Trotta, going through F-150s, F-250s, and F-350s. And he knew everything about that plow route and his drivers. Lucky affirmatively tells us there was nothing there at first pass at 2:30 a.m. And the most concerning thing to me, Vinny, is if these plow routes were started at 2:30 and Karen Reed allegedly struck Officer John O'Keefe at 12:32 a.m., how did all that taillight magically land back in that yard? Not one of the plows moved any of the fragments of taillight. 45 pieces didn't get moved up the street at all with the plow routes? I don't think so.
Let's take a listen to one person who did see something when she was leaving the party. That's what she testified to. Here's Julie Nagel.
I did notice behind Sarah and Jen, I did notice something out of the ordinary, like a black blob in the ground by the flagpole.
Can you describe how big an object it was that you saw?
I'd probably say like
a black blob.
5 or 6 feet.
Help me.
Like long.
And you were in a car such that if you thought that you saw something that could have been a person, all you had to do was tell the driver, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you tell the driver that you saw somebody who was in trouble?
Well, I said it out loud in the car.
So is it your testimony now that you said out loud in the car, there's a person who's in trouble?
That's not what I said, no.
You didn't mention a person at all.
All right, Mike, what do you think of the black blob?
Yeah, it's a black blob. And again, just for the record, I'm neutral on this. I think the prosecution and the defense have a lot of difficulties here, and that's what resulted in the hung jury. And unless they're changing or they're coming up with more compelling evidence on either side. So the black, look, you know, this might sound crazy, but I've searched for suspects in the darkness of night. And I've actually was stepping on them because they were motionless and they were in dark clothing under my feet in a vegetated area, and I was stepping on them. And it was only my police dog that alerted to me that I was standing on a human being. So it's nighttime vision, alcohol, all these things pay an effect. And I'd say the same regarding the snowplow operator. I know it's almost hard to believe in hindsight, no pun intended, we can look and see these things. But when you're driving home at night in a snowstorm or in the rain, when I drove through there, it was raining.
Look at Kim.
And it's very just hard to focus on the road, let alone. So yeah, different circumstances, different conditions. But I can see some reasonableness in it's not that mystifying to me that nobody could see it.
Mike Gould, Kim Whalen, great to have you both on the program. Thank you so much. Still to come. How different will the openings be this time around?
How much input do you have on the opening statement?
It's collaborative all the way around. Alan owns it.
You feel that? The NWSL is on Ion.
It's game time.
Who is this bald dude? And what is he thinking? You know, it's almost like they just don't want to say anything. Once you just go with the narrative. I have a question for you. Have any of you heard anyone say, I know Brian Albert, I know Brian Higgins, I know Colin, and I can't see any one of them doing this, what you're saying that he's doing? Have any of us seen that? I haven't. And believe me, I have scoured comments. In fact, it's the opposite. I've not seen anyone say, oh, don't get Brian Albert or Brian Higgins. These guys were good police officers and they helped me. And Colin, blah, blah, blah. And he was so good and he was in the community and he blah, blah. I haven't heard anything. Nothing. Nothing. Darling, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. You be well, honey. Get some rest. We got a big week coming up. Much love to you, my darling. Yeah. Yeah, I see your comments because they are not good people. Himpy, I gotcha and read it. Oh, shoot, here we are. I'm slacking.
Exactly what happened. Closing arguments with Vinnie Politan, only on Court TV.
Ion is on with 3 networks to enjoy.
Yeah, it's on. I got fooled. Boozy, I was saying that in a reading the other day. All of a sudden, that era of the tough guys is leaving. All of a sudden, people are trying to stand up. And they're not so afraid because they understand that there is strength in numbers. I love it. I love it. Zorro. I believe it. There's some people that are just contacting me out of the blue because they listen, but they don't want to comment because you don't know who's really in here. And when you're a local like that, I don't blame them. But at this point, sorry, you know what I'm having? It's the Eve jelly beans. I know. Tomorrow I'll be bouncing on Brennan's head.
To use your interviews in his opening statement. Come at me.
That's what your dad said.
You sound like your dad. I may have seen it. I would not have said anything that I wouldn't say again.
See the 15-second clip that the prosecution plans to play?
I did.
What's it show?
Nothing that phases me in any way.
Can you tell us?
I don't think I can, no. I've been ready. I have no choice but to be ready. I feel strong. I've got an amazing team, and I'm anxious. I'm anxious, Jonathan. Yeah.
How much input do you have on the opening statement?
It's collaborative all the way around.
Wait,
Alan
who just
owns
got
it,
into
and
another
he's
fight?
always open to input and layers more of input, but it's ultimately Alan's, and Alan we all trust, but we've all given input.
So there you hear Karen Reed talking about the opening statement, and she's talking about Alan Jackson giving that opening statement. Well, take a look. We got a little change in what's going to happen this time around. Hank Brennan, the new prosecutor, will deliver the opening statement for them. And then you've got Alan Jackson, instead of David Yannetti, will be delivering the opening statement for the defense. So things will change a little bit. Let's give you a little flavor of Alan Jackson versus Hank Brennan.
The first trial, I'll note, was riddled with what we believe to be inadmissible and highly, highly prejudicial testimony from a bunch of witnesses who took the opportunity to describe harassment and distress that they felt from third parties, both on social media and otherwise. No third party, including any blogger, any social media personality, any member of the public, no third party speaks for Ms. Reed.
I can appreciate the defense wanting to identify the line in which they would open the door.
Yes, I don't know about you, but
harassment and abuse of witnesses. I understand why that would be important. But to convert that into a speech that absolutely defies reality and grossly misstates the history and facts of this case is beyond me.
He said that I stood up here just a second ago and attacked witnesses and
okay, my
bashed
darling.
witnesses.
Thank you.
And made fraudulent statements.
I'll make a note of that.
Was he listening?
All right, that brings us to the next question in our investigation. This is one everyone's wondering about. How different will openings be? This time around, it's Alan Jackson, Hank Brennan. What is going to change?
Hank Brennan will object.
His attorney was a prosecutor for
to,
20 years, including
I'm going to say Alan Jackson.
in Norfolk County, in that same courthouse where all this is taking place. Rick Grundy's with us, and attorney Melanie Little. She's Melanie Little on YouTube, and she is here with us as well. Melanie, I'll begin with you, ladies first. What do you think? How different this time around?
I mean, I have to say, first of all, David Yannetti's opening during the first trial was one of the best openings I've ever seen. But it is a really good idea to change it up this time and to throw, something new at the prosecution. And Alan Jackson is passionate. He's engaging. He knows how to grab and hold attention. I think instead of focusing on Karen Reed was framed, I think this time the focus should be on John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. I think it's a tough sell for a lot of the jurors, and they have the benefit this time, the defense does, of some of the jurors having given interviews. I think that now they know what the jury was hanging some of their reasonable doubt on or lack of reasonable doubt on. And I think that what it needs to be this time is John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. Something else happened, but the injuries to John O'Keefe do not line up with the pedestrian versus motor vehicle accident. They just don't. Something else happened. We don't know exactly what it is.
Bravo.
And here's a picture of his arm, because we've learned now that they want to show a picture of John O'Keefe's right arm in their opening, which indicates a dog attack, which the experts for the defense are going to say are dog bites.
Rick, what are your thoughts here? Let's take a look at the prosecutors.
Well,
how are things going to change for them?
Let me first say, Vinny, this is a big couple of days here in Boston, Massachusetts. We had just celebrated the 250th year since the Concord-Lexington battle, the first fight in the Revolutionary War, and we followed that up with our marathon today and celebrating Patriots Day, which is why I have my flag tie on. So it's natural to follow it with those infamous times of Boston with the Karen Reed second trial. I agree and disagree with Melanie. I think they need to refocus that from what was a very powerful opening statement to take into heart the most important thing that a juror said, and that was, I don't know what happened, so we couldn't choose a story and decide. I don't know what happened is not guilty. And that's what they have to focus on. I think if you switch it just to the injury,
Fair enough.
You're still putting yourself in that spider's web where you have deflated that burden of proof from the Commonwealth. And they're there thinking we have to pick one of these two stories. There's a lot wrong with this Commonwealth case. And I think that's what your opening statement should be. The cell phones getting thrown away, the injuries not consistent. But we're not saying that proves to you what happened. We're saying it proves that what the Commonwealth needs to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt did not happen. The prosecution, they've got a lot more room to go up, I think, in their opening statements. And I think you'll see that from Hank Brennan. I don't anticipate Hank Brennan to be overly theatrical, loud, bombastic, but I think he will put a cogent story, breathing some life into it and logic that wasn't there in their opening statement. And the prosecution always has more to gain in a retrial. There's always surprises coming from the defense side, starting with whether the defendant will testify or not, and on through their discovery. It's just not as thorough as the Commonwealth need do. So they are in a better position, I think, to weave in what that defense was as need be. But my feeling is here is that can the defense, so wed to this alternate theory, can they pull back far enough to rely on what a defendant's greatest defense is?
They didn't prove it. We don't know what happened.
I don't have to prove anything.
Melanie, we have about 20 seconds left here. How important will these openings be?
So important because the jury is going to pay attention from jump. They are going to be so engaged. They're going to want to focus. They're going to want to pay attention. Reasonable doubt needs to be hammered home for the defense. Reasonable doubt, bad investigation. Therefore, you cannot find my client guilty.
Melanie Little, Rick Grundy, great to have you aboard. Thank you so, so much. Get ready, folks. This trial will be much different second time round. You could see some witnesses, perhaps with a little different testimony. You may not see or hear some of the witnesses from the first trial. And with these lawyers, expect some new evidence and some new arguments. Everything is at stake, and both sides, trust me, in this case, want desperately to win. The question is, can either side convince all 12 jurors? I'm Vinny Politan. We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
Mel and Kim were top shelf out of bounds. Good night, Vinny. We'll see you tomorrow. What do you guys think? I think Melanie is so precise, and she's top shelf. She's just top shelf. I know there was a lot that she wanted to say and what she couldn't say. I think one of the things that she wanted to say was that Colin Albert's attorney was in the last documentary that was shown on ID and Max or HBO, whatever you want to call it. He was the gray-haired guy who kept putting in his 2 cents and giving us his opinion. And however, pardon me, did not disclose that he was Colin Albert's attorney. So I don't like his lawyer. And there you go. I think Mel, it was fantastic. I will write her a little note and thank her. I just think, tomorrow is going to be such a huge day for all of us. I don't want this stream to go too long tonight because we've got to get some rest, because we will be watching the trial tomorrow. And I may start a little earlier tomorrow night at 6:30, so our friends across the ways can come in and basically say hello. I just heard a growl. I heard a whistle before we came on. So, yeah, I'm probably going to be up with the, we can do, did you hear it? Did you hear that little growl? I will probably be up with the, one thing I know, Zelda, put these away. Tomorrow I have, like I said earlier, tomorrow I have a little bit of cheese, a little bit of olives and pickles and marinated artichoke hearts. And there we go. Oh gosh, Heather, no, I don't burp on the, no, I won't burp on the microphone. Oh my goodness, no. I've been hearing a lot. And I'm going to be bouncing on the rebounder tomorrow. I'm going to be bouncing on Brennan. And then I will be here. I've got a lot of work to do. And I'm going to be working tomorrow as I'm watching the channel, as I'm watching the trial. So there we go. I thought Kim did beautifully. I thought Melanie looked just absolutely movie star spectacular. Boozy's going to be at the courthouse. And so what I will, we'll see what we can do to fit everything in. So tomorrow night, I will, we'll start at 6:30. And what I want to do is I'm going to play it back like time and a quarter. I will fast forward through all the sidebars. I will fast forward through all the nonsense. But I will tell you that I think that for Brennan, he feels like he has to come out and make a show, that he has to prove his case in the first 10 minutes. Now, I get that. But I can tell you right now, AJ will come out. He will keep his voice down and low. And the reason you do that is so people pay attention to you so you can hear them better. He will keep his voice down and low. Pardon me. He will be elegant, classy. He will not use big words that are going to be too big and too whatever. And it's going to be noteworthy. noteworthy. I read something to you I wrote something that I want to read to you. I wrote this. Hello. You see? I wrote this at Christmas for Karen, and I think it's appropriate. I would like to read it to you all tonight before we do anything more. And then there's a couple of things I want to ask you. Okay. So here we are. I'm going to read this to you. And here it is. Now, keep in mind, I wrote this 4 months ago. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, John's spirit was stirring, as quiet as a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, but whispers foretold the feds would be there. Their children were nestled all snug in their beds, haunted by memories of the night filled with dread. With Auntie Jen scheming and Uncle Brian near, Colin and Kevin stayed silent. Their intentions were clear. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, Uncle Brian stayed in, for he knew what was the matter. They put John on the lawn, and as the ambulance came, kept the house dark, hiding their game. With Karen at bay, they knew what to do. The silence grew heavy as shadows they drew. And then, in a twinkling, they knew there was proof, so they put in Karen to pull off their spoof. Higgy spoke not a word, but went straight to his work. We all knew he would, well, because he's a jerk. At this point, we know what happened that night. Only they are the ones who feel Karen must fight. Auntie Bev will now see Karen again, though the first trial ended a mistrial, my friend. Now a retrial begins, and Judge Cannoni's grin shows a corruption within, just like the others have been. Through justice we seek for Karen et al. Her team will defend her and show the world all. The day is coming where the truth will ignite. Merry Christmas to all. Karen will win this fight. Let's go. See? A very emotional. Now I got some questions. This was before John visited me. It was before John visited. John visited like Christmas Eve, I think. It was either Christmas Eve or the night of Christmas or the night after. It was right in that time. Pardon me. So that kind of set the precedence, I think. Good thing I'm not there. We would have to probably raise some bail money. Now, let's talk about something a little funny, because I want to ask you something. I did not hear anything today about the motions. So we don't know if the okay, thank you. We don't know if pardon me, if Auntie Bev is going to even allow or deny those motions. Think about this. I haven't seen anything. Have you? Have you seen anything? I have noticed no ruling, and opening statements are tomorrow at 9 a.m. So what is Bev going to do? Wait until 8:45 and sabotage the opening? There's another thing too. I'm just going to say this. You know that part about how they want these actors to read the text? And AJ is fighting because, first of all, the texts are text. So there's not an emotion that can come out of them. So here's my question. Yeah, I don't think they're going to start until probably 9:30 or maybe even 10. How many of you remember Benny Hill? Benny Hill and the Benny Hill Show from 100 years back. I love Benny Hill. I used to watch him constantly from the UK, from Thames. And he would do these skits, and it would just be so hilarious. Well, I remember that they would give him, you know how he would dress up like women and play these women actors and all this other stuff. Okay. So remember, I remember this one, and it would just slay me. And this is what it reminds me of. Benny Hill dressed as a woman trying out for a commercial, and they give him the script. And Benny Hill reads it and he says, "What is this thing called, love?" When it was supposed to be written, "What is this thing called love?" And he reads it, What is this thing called love?" And it was the most hilarious thing. And this is exactly what I feel would be happening if they got somebody in there to read the text. They would be reading them without the right connotation, the right inflection, everything. Boozy says, "I have a sneaky feeling one of them will try to do something before the opening statement." Yeah, they're going to. I want you to be watching, because even if it goes smoothly in the morning, which it is going to be sabotage, underhanded, down deep, dirty, snake belly, underhanded. Did I say that? Corrupt, biased. I cannot find a word that suits this. I cannot find it. I don't know what, but I can't. I mean, look, I've heard plenty of the F word. I'm not that prudent, but I can tell you that just doesn't even have enough punch. Nothing does. Nothing. They are carnivorous monsters for what they have done. Think about this. Anyone who will lie to you will steal from you. And look at what they're stealing. And Jen, who I have said from the beginning, in my opinion, has been the fixer. She's been the fix the whole entire time. She's the orchestrator. She's the center. And everyone flocks around her like the queen bee. Someone will be breaking down. I believe it. There's going to be something going on during this trial. And yeah. Sylvia's daughter says, Lady Z, they are truly demonic and ritual. Yeah. Yeah. They, and I will, the one time I know it was her, in my opinion, my heart of hearts, where she tried to send me something. Well, I've got news for you, my darlings. I've been around. And this gal doesn't take kindly to negative entities trying to come in and harm me and mine and my kitties, and taking cards, taking this, doing, upsetting this, hearing growls, hearing whatever the case. And I send it back tenfold immediately to the sender. And it has to go because I confronted it. And I know she, in my opinion, she dabbles. She does more than dabble. But in my also opinion, I feel that we have her on one side who is manipulating, Queen Bee. And then we have Karen on the other side that is maneuvering. And I want you to think of Karen as Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, when they're in those fight scenes and they're sending these rays, and Keanu Reeves is doing this. And he is avoiding everything that has been sent. But I can tell you, the law of the universe commands that anybody that does this sort of thing in a harmful way will reap what they sow almost immediately. It will be sent back to them tenfold and even more. And I'll be glad to take on that job, because this is so horrid for Karen. I'm going to tell you what I know that they've tried to do. Give me a second. Roxy D. Bell coming in top shelf. Bless you, my darling. Go and like the live. Yes, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, be here. We're going to be here, and I'm going to try to stay up with this as long as I possibly can, my darlings. Thank you so much for your generosity, Roxy. Thank you. Thank you. But I'm going to tell you what I feel. I can say it that way. What I feel, supposedly, allegedly, because we do know that Karen has one weakness, and that is her health. And we need to send her vibes and surround her with golden white light, so nothing that is sent can penetrate and get through to her. I do believe in my heart, my opinion is this has been sent to her over and over, because they know that what she has can and will be crippling. But remember, she's got a higher power on her side that doesn't like that sort of thing. And also remember, I want you to remember that there are 10,000 angels watching over. This won't be pretty. I'm going to tell you, I do believe in my heart something is going to happen. And it's going to happen soon. It will happen. It will happen. I cannot wait, because this chick, and I'm not talking about Karen. Karen, I believe, was chosen to take on, hey, think of Deborah in the Bible. Think of Joan of Arc. I constantly think that they're trying to make a martyr out of her. And just seriously, how do I send white light? Just think it and pray. Absolutely. Heavenly Father, we ask that your generous, healing, protective white light, lice, and that's horrible. See, light. I get emotional. Your healing, protected white light will encapsulate Karen and her defense team. You will protect her. We know you made that promise, and we thank you so much. That's what you do. But you don't do it as though you're begging, because God tells us a way to pray. And that is, he tells us, and I believe it's in the book of Isaiah, where he says, come boldly to the throne and remind me of my promises. Now, why would God say that? Did he forget the promises? He wants to know if we know them. He wants to know if we know the promises, so that we go to him and we step boldly up to the throne and we say, look, Father, I know you told us that you would protect us. With God, no weapon formed against us will ever prosper. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And that's how you do it. Most people feel that they have to beg and cry and plead. That don't get a lot of things done. It is come boldly to the throne and remind me of my promises. I'm going to give you that scripture right now so you all can read it. Come boldly to the throne of grace. King James Version is what I like. I'm sorry, I misquoted. It is not Isaiah. It is actually in the book of Hebrew. Come boldly to the throne of grace is a call to approach God in prayer with confidence. It is Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Let us therefore come boldly onto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Confidence. Let me see. Remind. Okay. Let me see. Hello. Let me get this. Let us therefore come boldly. It is actually Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. So when you're asking for all of this, there's no room, as far as Father is concerned, there's no room for crying and whining and groveling and wailing and gnashing of teeth. It's time for us to stand up. That's what you do when you fight. Stand up, come boldly, and say, you know what? And remind me. I'm going to find that, because I do know that might be in Isaiah. Let me see. Bible verse remind me of. It is in Isaiah. I didn't lie. Okay, here we are. Isaiah, I was mixing the two. Isaiah chapter 62, for those of you who want to know, Isaiah chapter 62, verse 6. Put the Lord in remembrance of his promises, and to keep not silence. It says in Isaiah 43, verse 26, put me in remembrance and let us plead together. Don't you love that? Here, hold on. Let me just get this. I'm going to put it in the chat for everyone. And then you'll have it. Then you'll have it. Because it is really quite beautiful. Here we go. I knew that's what it was. There we are. Put me in remembrance. Let us plead together. Declare thou that thou mayest be justified. Now, what does that mean? Put me in remembrance. Let us plead together. That means let us talk it out. That means let's just talk it out. And it says, implying a call to present one's case, to present one's case. Get it? It's like a trial. You go up to God, you present your case to God, implying a call to present one's case and plead with God for vengeance. Only plead when you look in this, whatever, when you look in the different words and their meanings. Pleading can actually mean talking it out. God wants us to come and talk it out. And you know the good thing? When we say, you know what, you promised us that no weapon formed against us will prosper. When two or more come together, it shall be done. Remember, see that those are the things. That's how you stand up. And actually, that's what changed my life. Is I went from pleading and being a wiener. Can't be a wiener when you're a warrior. Doesn't work. You're a wiener or you're a warrior. And the moment that I sat back and said, you know what? God, I'm just kind of sick the way things are going. Will you please take my life and do something with it? Woo! And here we are. So when you're thinking about that tonight, think about this. Putting the full armor of God, Kelly says, yes. Put on the full armor of God. Because the devil himself, Ephesians 6, 10 through 8. Typing with nails is not the thing to do. I always read the King James Version, and I'll tell you why someday. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Can't get any more principalities. Principles. That's what that means. We fight against the principles. Against powers. The justice system. Against the rulers of darkness in this world. We could sit here and name quite a few. Against spiritual wickedness. We definitely know who's in that category. In high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand that evil day, and having done all, to stand. It says basically, gird up your loins. Hello, we're getting ready to have the fight. And we're right there for Karen. That's the way it is. So that's what's going on. I love it. I love it. And I'll tell you what, talk about rejuvenation of strength. So we're not wieners. We're warriors, right? No wieners. Only warriors. It does involve in putting each piece on. It basically says, therefore, having your loins girt with the truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Why do you need a breastplate? Well, it protects your heart. Why do you need it to protect your heart? Well, because that's where you feel emotions the most. And your feet shod with preparation of the gospel of peace. Why do you need your feet shod? Well, it keeps you from going into territory that you shouldn't be going into. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench out all fiery darts of the wicked. The shield of faith, having that force field, that shield of faith, no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. And take the helmet of salvation. Why do you need a helmet? Well, because it protects your brain and it protects your thoughts and your thinking process. The sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, that double-edged sword, which can cut both ways, praying always with all prayer and supplication in spirit, and watching thereunto all perseverance and supplication for the saints. Who are the saints? Well, we are. Let the saints go marching into that courtroom tomorrow. Amen and amen. So, but anyway, my dear, I'm tuning in late here, but did this guy seriously just try to suggest that when you're driving, you have to block out pedestrians? I think what he was saying was that sometimes we drive blindly and we're too busy listening to the late radio or talking to someone in the car, or we're, thinking about other things, and we can possibly pass things by. And that is true to a certain extent. But, snow is bright, and you're going to see the contrast of John laying on the snow, which I don't think it was snowing hard, but it wasn't deep. But I truly believe, my darling, that he was dressed. I mean, would you not see the contrast of him laying there? Of course you would. Of course. Absolutely. That passage has been my mantra for years. Absolutely. I agree. There's so many. I used to teach. And sometimes it would make people so mad because they would come to me and say, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me this is what this scripture really means? My mom and my grandma read that for me for years. And they felt some way. But when it comes time for judgment, the ones that will be judged first are the ones that teach. And that's why you got to know what you're doing, because if you mislead the masses, and I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of pastors, and if you mislead the masses, guess what? That's not going to be a good look for you on that day. No. Little B coming in hot with a super sticker on the True Oracle side. And thank you so much, my darling, for being so generous. Thank you. Boozy says, confirmed as someone who lived that storm, it was maybe 3 inches at most. See? They're a bunch of goons. I think I missed somebody here. Hold on, I did. Let me go back. Where are we? Maeve. I love that name. Maeve 1850. Honking Hank's hysterical hijinks. Thank you, Zelda. I find great comfort in scriptures. You including in your broadcast is incredibly meaningful. Thank you. Thank you. And may God find his blessings on you as well. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, because didn't somebody say that there were 6 inches on John? How? There wasn't 6 inches on him. That just does not make any sense. They made it sound like whiteout conditions. Yeah, they did. And the only thing that was whited out were the reports that they wrote on. Hi, Jolene. Just saw that Ms. Zelda's live. Brief catch up. What we did, my darling, is we watched Melanie Little on Court TV. That was a lot of fun. We saw Nurse Kim. Both of them top shelf, excellent, wonderful points. They were beautiful. They looked terrific, and they were stand-up warrior women, and they told it the way it was. And we just all were big fans here. All big fans. There you go. Okay, let me see. I have to catch up here. Boozy says, and Lucky only did a center pass of the street, so no buildup of snow pile, sorry. At the end of the property, the plow snow would have been toward the middle of the lanes. Yeah, see? I mean, do they think, I really believe that the common sense of the common wusses feel that we all have this loser mark on our heads, that we can't think for ourselves, and we have zero common sense. And there we go. Karen has got a great point. The National Weather Service will have historical data for the defense to impeach if they try to say shite elsewhere. Scheissele, mein Zeus, Scheissele. That's right. And they've got the weather guy, some weather guy coming on. But I'm going to tell you, I think what's going to happen, because they're putting him on the hot seat, he's not going to be able to say too much of anything. He's not going to. He ain't going to. He ain't going to. You can see John on the dash cam briefly. He wasn't covered like some state. Well, heck no, Heck no, he wasn't. A lot of us saw him there. They think we're stupid. Guess what? Yeah. Well, I love the fact when we were talking earlier, when Court TV was on, Vinny was talking about, I've had people message me and just kind of, say a few things and basically say, look, I don't want you to say don't say my name. You can tell me. But the bottom line is, people there, the community is getting, enough is enough. Now, not only are they tired of the antics of these two families who thought that they ran the county, but look what it's costing. Not only the county of Norfolk, the city of Canton, but the state of Massachusetts. Look at what it's costing. And the common wusses are just basically, oh, here, you want another check for $250,000? Oh, that's fine. That's all right. We'll just raise our taxes, or we'll raise property tax. That's where we'll get them. We'll raise our property taxes. People are getting fed up. And when they start voting people out, like this new person that got voted in on the select board, hello, there we go. There we go. Love it. Love it. Let me see what else. Doesn't Canton sound like a Stephen King novel? Yes. It actually, you know what? I know there are so many people that are lovely there. But the justice system there, I'm going to narrow it down. The justice system there feels almost like a Roach Motel where you go in and you just don't come out. And I think daily about those people who have been convicted and who are innocent because somebody decided that they just needed to be put away. or they were mad at somebody and they used. I know somebody that was like that in Florida years ago. It was a police officer. He's gone now. He was older. My sister knew him. And he was a married police officer coming around the house, sniffing around my sister. She was a little older than me. And my mom and dad, well, my dad and mom were divorced. My mom was living in Florida with us. She was diagnosed and was ill. And my mom said, don't you get involved with this. Don't you get involved with this guy. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. So this went on, and he talked her into going out with him a few times and all this other stuff. And finally, my mom came to me and said, because I always said, don't you have somebody in the family that does the dirty work? That was me. When I say dirty work, you have to tell somebody that they can't do this or they have to do this, that sort of thing, the legal dirty work. Well, I got elected to go to this police officer and say, look, my family doesn't appreciate you coming here to the house and sniffing around my sister. You are not in a position to be doing that. And you basically know what he told me? That he was going to do what he wanted to do. And from that moment on, I would be watched. And if I did anything out of line, they would make sure that I pulled the strings for me to go to the penal farm in Florida. Now, that's some serious stuff. And me being me, basically said, really, big boy? Really? Until I would start going to work. And when I would pull out of the subdivision we lived in, there would be a police car follow me all the way to work. And when I would pull into work, they would drive slowly by, so I would see them following. And when I would come back, they would follow me home. And that went on for about 2 or 3 weeks. And my mom was a nervous wreck. And of course, he had my sister like, see, that sort of thing. And so finally, Dad spoke to her and said, look, you need to call him off, or if you're going to meet him, do not bring him around the house because Mom is sick. But you need to call him off, because if you don't, and something happens to Zelda, then we will cut you off financially, and he better be prepared to take care of you, because we will have the legal fees to come out, and I will make sure that when we get done, these people are not left standing. I literally ended up leaving and moving to another state. If that tells you something. And that was back in the 1980s. Did she continue to see this police officer? Yes. She didn't listen. And then she met somebody else, and it kind of pittered off from there. And my mother got gravely ill, and we moved her from Florida to Tennessee. But that was a very unnerving time, because believe me, I don't mind standing up to somebody, but when you have people like this that take the law into their own hands and who make sure that things happen to make you look guilty, that's a scary thing. And quite frankly, I am I don't listen. I work with dead people. I see dead people. I work with dead people. The growls and the whistles and the full body apparitions and the hellos and the EVPs and all that stuff doesn't scare me. What scares me are these holier than thou people, as an example, that are associated with the justice system in Norfolk County. That scares me. And I think, going back, how many innocent people have been put away because of Cellbrite, or evidence has been manipulated and there's nobody to catch them, because who are you going to go report this to? That was the pickle that I was in. Who would I report it to? You can't go to the chief. You don't know who you can trust and who you can't trust. And I just ended up moving. And that was the whole frightening and scary thing. And he would come over and sit in front of the house and sit there at night. So I would make sure that I saw. And it got to the point where he was very vigilant at it. So believe me, I understand. Because who do you go to? You can, in Massachusetts, you can't even go to the governor. These people are appointed by each other, and it is a political mess. So what do you do? And you can't have the whole town of Canton move. You can't have them all move. If they turn against you, look out. And I shudder to think that night of Jen trying to persuade Karen to go to the house with her. Thank God she didn't, or she wouldn't be here. And it would be Lucky that would be on trial, most likely for both of them, or we may not even hear from them again. So what are you going to do? It's not like, I mean, you can tag these people. I see people all the time tag our leaders, I'm going to say it that way, law enforcement leaders on a national basis in X or in Twitter, whatever you want to say. And it's almost futile because they have so much going on. And quite frankly, they have people post and read these for them. They'd be lucky if they read it. They don't. It's very unfortunate. There's just too much going on and reading and doing this sort of thing. So yeah. John, see, Kim, I like this. John was the sacrificial lamb. He sure was. And he said something about being a lamb the other night, didn't he? And quite frankly, look, we all know that John had done some things. He wasn't innocent. And you know what? So what? None of us are. So what? But he never deserved what he got in the end. Did not deserve that, period. And believe me, that is what is going to make the difference. Look at this. You guys are having these. Where am I? Sitting here on my, I love this. I love the smell of books in a library. Listen, my friends, you know the one thing that I love to do when I'm traveling? They don't have them that much anymore. In New England, they sort of do, I think, and around the bigger cities. But I love to go into old bookstores and just kind of nose around. And believe me, I have found some treasures, especially when you go through historical cities, you know, like that's got a lot of history, like Virginia, into Virginia, in Richmond, and, you know, all that and on up. Oh my gosh. Dragon Mom said, I love the smell of napalm. That is so hilarious. Oh, what was this now? Meet Leah. Get this clown off there. Who is this nut job? Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, you know, here's the thing. We are all so tired of it. Imagine Karen. Imagine Karen tonight. Will she sleep? Probably. She's going to look like $1 million when she goes into the court tomorrow. She's going to look like $1 million. But I got to tell you something. I love real books. And I don't have room for them here. I had a storage unit filled. You see all the books back here in this picture? I made this picture because I love books and I want my office to look kind of like this, kind of. I love books. I love to be able to just go and look at the book. But for some reason, because I had a climate controlled storage unit, well, the the sprinkler system on the inside malfunctioned, and they didn't tell any of us who had these, and it soaked all of my books, everything. I saved some of them, but some of them were just too far gone. You couldn't save them. So I have my Kindle now. I have my Kindle, and the one that the kiddies love to sit on. And so anyway, I actually have a whole library of books that are like esoteric, everything from phrenology to paranormal. And they were written. I have one that was written back into the 1500s. They're in all languages: French, German, Italian, Spanish. And you know what? I digitalized them and put them on my own Kindle. So I have probably close to 500 titles on Kindle. But you know what the sad part of it is? This isn't a book. It's just not a book. It's just not. It doesn't smell, doesn't feel like it, nothing. Nothing. See, it just doesn't feel like it. So the last book that I have on here, let me show you, because I love to read. And if this trial wasn't going on, I'd be in my room reading tonight. This is the last book that I have that I downloaded on my Kindle. And it's The Guide to the Hidden. And y'all can go over there to the psychic shop and get it. Because believe me, I have been reading the hidden cards for this particular case. Pretty crazy things going on. And there's some pretty nefarious things going on there too. So my darlings, this is what we're going to do. I wonder why Vinny, that's a good question. Did you just hear my ring clack on here? I do that. I wonder why Vinny didn't ask Nurse Kim about the injuries tonight. She is a medical professional after all. I don't think I think it's because she's not a doctor and she is a nurse. So I don't think she can. I don't know. I wish. Listen, I think Nurse Kim can tell it like it is about those head injuries, about the loss of the leaders, all of that. So, yeah. Katie says, I hear you. I mostly listen to Audible these days, which I love in its own right, but it's definitely not the same as holding an actual book. Someone asked, what do I read? I read back, had to reboot everything. I missed the good stuff. Oh, bless you. I read old English literature like Pride and Prejudice. I like the Brontes. I like Jane Austen. My favorites are Wuthering Heights, Jane Austen. I read those every fall of the year. I read Wuthering Heights, Gone with the Wind, and Jane Austen, either Pride and Prejudice or something, or maybe Emma, but Pride and Prejudice probably. So, and then I read a lot of other things in between. I like A War and Peace is one of my favorites. I like that too. I mean, I read a lot. I don't read junk. I don't read this fantasy stuff where, this blue something or other came out and had 15 arms and whatever. I can't. I just can't. So anyway, my darlings, oh my goodness. How wonderful is that? Our dear green-eyed Southern girl has a first edition signed Gone with the Wind. I love it. I love it. This was Kim's second time on Court TV. How wonderful. I know she's a good one. She's a good one. But my darlings, here's what we're going to do. I've got some work to do to finish up tonight. I want to be up to catch opening statements tomorrow. I've got to work tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we're going to start at 6:30. Be here, aloha. 6:30 Eastern. That is New York, America time. We will be here. We're going to fast forward. We're going to just go for it. Bring your snacks. Bring whatever it is that you need. And let's get ready. We're going to see this. We're going to see a show tomorrow. Look at Kelly. Look at this. I'll be up with the chickens. Me too, my darling. Me too. I'm not only going to be up with the chickens. I usually go to bed with the chickens, but you know, I'm a night owl these days. So I'll be here with my ball cap with Sammy and the crowd. And we're just going to like have your notifications on. Don't be nervous about tomorrow, my darlings. Don't be nervous about tomorrow. I think we've got this. My darling, I was going to do some EVPs tonight. It is almost 11 o'clock. If we do that, you know how that goes. And I'm on here for another 2 hours. And listen, I can't hack it. And the days, and with me working on a second, I've got to make sure that I'm tickety boom. So there we go. We're going to get ready to rumble. Remember, go boldly to the throne and plead your case. So that's what we need to do. My alarm is set. Anne says, I'm like a kid waiting for You know, is it bad to be kind of excited? I mean, I'm not excited. I think I'm nervous. But I want to see this. I want to see them be. I think something is definitely going to happen during this. And remember, we just passed the holiday. So as we go through, something is about to happen. So there we go, my darling. Here we go. It is the first day of the last days Karen will live this purgatory. Isn't that the truth? And what I want you to know is by July 4th, it will all be over. Then we're going to be seeing the lawsuits come. And I'm here for that. Somebody asked me the other day, well, when Karen is acquitted and everything is over, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to stream about? Oh, there will be plenty. Karen will live with us. This whole thing will live in infamy, thank you, forever. And we'll have plenty to talk about. And we're still going to go live. And believe me, there'll be another case come. There'll be another case come that we'll be able to talk about. But for right now, and somebody asked me the other day, well, why don't you read on the Idaho 4? And why don't you read on this? And I don't have time because I'm reading all day long. I wish I had time. It would be fantastic if I could just like tingle, ding, 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 and it'd be done. But wow. So my darlings, Kelly says, I have faith in the universe. I do too. We will always have something to chat about. And hopefully I will be finding out about my moving this week, maybe. So I got to tell you, I've been looking at places, okay? Because the good thing is the market prices have dropped drastically in the area that I really want to be in. But I can't find what I like. And I've got a list and I want to check off everything on the list. And I don't want to spend money on a home to have to go in and renovate when I move, I want to move. I want to go to Costco. I want to get all my stuff. I want to go to the fresh market. I want to go to wherever, get all my cooking. I want to cook. And I just want to get it all. And plus I have an office that I want a particular room for an office that I can click off. The funny thing is, back in the day when a lot of family were still around and they would come over to my house for any type of holiday, the first thing that everybody would kind of do is migrate over to where I had my office. And they would be saying, "Hey, Zell, you need to look this up, or tell us about this, or what about this book, or what about this?" My grandmother was the one. And she would come over to my house and she would say, "I'm getting lost in here. This place is so huge," because I would get big homes. But I mean, Grandma was like 5'2", and Zelda is 5'10". So I don't know where all that happened, but here we are. So there we go. And so once that comes into play, maybe you guys will put my office together. Maybe I can tell you what esoterically more things about it. Ooh. So tonight, I'm going to be sending a lot of that negative energy back to the senders in Norfolk County. And I'm going to be sending everyone else a lot of love, light, peace. And may you all sleep very well tonight. We're sending Karen prayers of peace, goodwill, and we know we're going to fight. And we're in this together. So there we go, my darlings. There we go. Okay, there we are. So, yes, Robin, I am 5'10" in my stocking feet. Always made it a little hard. Return to sender. Always made it a little hard to date the cute fellows. Harder to go to the dance. So there we are. Kim says, "Oh, we had a leak in our master bathroom shower behind the wall. Oh, that's the worst. Got a new shower and tub, etc. Took out the old tile and flooring. It's a mess. We're almost finished with renovations." I know. I used to flip houses in Knoxville, Tennessee. Let me see if Glare will let us raid him. Give me a second. Let me see if he's not on the list. We'll see. Give me a second. Let me see. And then let me see if he's available. He's not open to. He won't let me. He has that ability closed, or I would send everybody over there. I'm sorry. I would send you there so y'all can go and say hello for me. So there you are. Yeah, I don't think he has that set up. So if you all go over there, just tell him that we love him. We're rating. Love all of them. There you go. So anyway, my darlings, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Have a good rest. We're here. Thank you so much for everyone for their generosity. Someday I'll be able to take a remedial English course, but for right now, love, life, beautifuls. There you go. Love you, love you. I might go over there just for a minute and say hello. Much love, and we're going to see you tomorrow night. So you all be good. I'm going to play my intro as an outro again, okay? So here we are, my darlings, and all of you have a good night, okay? So here we go, and you all, I will see you tomorrow. Here we go. Bye. The cards speak. Justice listens. Welcome to the unseen. Truth doesn't hide forever, not from the eyes that see. Spirits stir, clues awaken. Let the seeing begin. Behind every crime, a shadow speaks. I'm Lady Zelda. Welcome to Seeing Crime.